The tribal chief, the owner of the island of relevancy, has been the topic of interest for quite some time now. Most notably, a huge peak in that conversation has occurred over the last number of days with the acquisition of the draft. He has been drafted back to SmackDown, and in doing so has pretty much stood exactly where he began. Now, with that being said, they introduced a new World Heavyweight Championship on Raw due to the fact that they don't have exactly an idea of how to split the titles, so they decided to just leave him with both, and they're going to most likely turn that into a new title and just call it the Undisputed title. But that's neither here nor there. As of right now, he's holding the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship, while the Raw side will hold the World Heavyweight Championship. With that being said, there was a rumor circulating that he may hold the title until 2024. And I don't personally think this is true, but if they do decide to have him hold it until September 13th of 2024, he would become the fourth longest reigning WWE World Heavyweight Champion of all time, with 1,475 days, which is extreme. As of right now, on May 27th, he will hit his 1,000th day on Night of Champions. Should he decide to go about a month after that, he will pass Pedro Morales. And in doing so, if he can hold it until the end of January of 2024, he will be the fifth longest reigning champion of all time. Now, the reason why I said he's going to hold it until at least WrestleMania of next year is because at that point he would be the fifth longest reigning WWE champion of all time, and WWE wants to update their record books and have longer title reigns with newer talent on those stats. Which brings me to people he could potentially be facing at Night of Champions. WWE's creative team recently scoffed at Vince McMahon's pitches for Roman Reigns' challenger at Night of Champions, with many of them making no sense. WrestleVotes tells Give Me Sports. Reigns is still without a clear opponent for the show on May 27th. And personally, the reason why I think they were scoffed at was because he probably pitched Omos. Let's be real. Men's probably said, hey, let's have Omos fight Roman Reigns, pal. That'll be a main event. In what world would Omos versus Roman Reigns make sense? They haven't even built up Omos recently. So you're telling me he's going to go over on Seth Rollins at Backlash to get him that push to fight Roman Reigns? No. Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way. If he does beat Seth Rollins, then Seth Rollins is going to look weak heading into the World Heavyweight Championship contention. Whereas if Seth Rollins beats Omos, then he can start getting his wins and continuing to be a formidable adversary to maybe Finn Balor, who he could be facing at Night of Champions for the World Heavyweight Championship. So it's a really interesting dynamic here, because if we see Omos winning, then he may very well be on path to facing Roman Reigns. If we see Seth winning, then maybe they might scuff the idea of Omos and Roman Reigns. But let's be real. If there's any of you who actually want to see that match, comment it down below, man. Don't be afraid. This next one's pretty obvious. AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns. Now that AJ Styles and the OC are on SmackDown, a Bloodline and OC feud would actually be pretty invigorating personally. And I think that it could culminate with AJ Styles facing Roman Reigns one-on-one at Night of Champions. And in doing so, they haven't really even locked up since Extreme Rules of 2016 anyway, with Roman Reigns ultimately retaining his WWE title against AJ Styles. So it would be interesting for them to run it back. The match that they had at Extreme Rules was awesome, and AJ Styles is, dare I say, phenomenal. So let's be real, I think AJ Styles would get a great match out of Roman Reigns, and it would be a great way to continue maybe getting him on the right path back on SmackDown. Now this next one to me is interesting, as well as it doesn't make any sense. Triple H has handpicked Karrion Kross as a potential upcoming opponent for Roman Reigns per Slice Wrestling, which again, I've never heard of them, so this next one, take it with a grain of salt, as it probably has no correlation to correction at all. But we know as of right now, Karrion Kross is in a program with Shinsuke Nakamura, which will culminate on this Friday night SmackDown in Puerto Rico the night before Backlash. With that being said, if we see Karrion Kross go over on Shinsuke Nakamura, then them repackaging Shinsuke Nakamura would have been kind of pointless. But if somehow Shinsuke wins, then he looks a bit stronger heading into SmackDown, but it still leaves Karrion Kross looking weak. In my opinion, in this match, it's kind of like a win. It's like a lose-lose situation here from a Karrion Kross standpoint, because if he loses, he loses. But if he wins and he doesn't fight someone else into an actual feud after this, and they keep wasting him, then it's not going to look good for him either way, and it would have wasted him beating Shinsuke Nakamura. But if Shinsuke Nakamura wins, then, you know, Shin can go into Raw looking a little stronger, and they've seemed to be repackaging him and getting him to that NXT version of Nakamura once again. Personally, I thought that Shinsuke Nakamura and Karrion Kross feud would have lasted a little longer, but the fact that it looks like this is going to be their final match is rather unfortunate. There was really not much of a build-up here, not much interaction, and I would have loved to have seen a little bit more before they fought on Friday. But with Shinsuke getting drafted to Raw, obviously it makes those plans. Would you like to see Karrion versus Roman Reigns? Personally, I wouldn't mind it. If it had the proper build-up, I think it could work. Especially now that we have already 3 other pretty top heels on SmackDown. They need to do something with Karrion Kross, or he's going to continue to get lost in the sauce. We have Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, LA Knight. And now also Karrion Kross, man. I think Karrion's going to definitely get lost in the sauce. Let me know what you guys think about all this. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching.